Yeah, well, I'm Tessa with Mama's Geeky. Thank you both so much for taking the time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Hi,
you.
nice to meet you.
Oh my gosh, this show, I started it and then I watched the entire season in one run. Like I just
Oh my
kept
God.
it's so good.
Good.
But
Thank
Melissa, for
you.
you, like
Yeah.
how scary, nervous, like what was it like knowing this is coming out? It's your story. So how does that feel?
Well, so it's we're at the 30-year anniversary of my father being arrested, and I screened the entire series with my family in our living room, and it was interesting to watch my adult children and my husband how they saw my life unfold in some ways. So it was interesting to hear my kids' questions about my life too. It's surreal to say the least. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Jennifer, for you, how important was it for you to make sure Melissa was thoroughly involved in this?
Yeah, I mean, well, at the beginning, she really gave me complete creative freedom. So I wanted her to be happy and I wanted her to feel respected. But anytime I came to her with something, she would be like, great, and so like, do your thing, it's your show. She really gave
Yeah.
me so much freedom and it was wonderful. And I would text her with questions and she shared her dad's letters, or she was really an open book. She came to the writer's room.
Mhm.
So the collaborative process was like a dream, but there was definitely anxiety that I had until she watched it. You know what I mean? And I was just terrified that it would be a different story. But luckily, she likes it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it really is. It's really such a good show. And like I said, like an episode would end and I'd be like, no, no, I need more. Like, let's just keep watching. Which, speaking of, it
Thank
does
you.
feel like there could be a second season. So is that something you would ever entertain? Because I would love more.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's the hope. There's definitely I definitely think there's a lot of different roads we could go down in a season 2, and the story continues to evolve, and Keith continues to write Melissa letters, and she's working with all kinds of other victims of crime, and her advocacy work. So there's a lot of different stories we could tell for sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
And
you'd be
there's
behind that.
Well, I would be behind it because to this day, there's really interesting things that still happen, and that I think are unique and bizarre. That I'm like, oh, I think I have a story for Jen to tell. Like, if
Yeah.
there's a season 2, you need to know this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's I
Yeah.
love you're like bookmarking. You're like, this is a good one.
Yeah.
Let's put this
Yeah.
aside. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got to talk about this cast too, because first of all, Dennis Quaid's phenomenal, right? He's so good, but Annalie's also incredible. So for both of you, like, what is that like? Working with them, or Melissa seeing her like be you? What is that like?
Well, I really felt like she captured my personality and my essence, which you never know. Like you take that gamble when you allow your life to be fictionalized, your likeness to be fictionalized. You don't know what they're going to take, or even people's perception of you. You don't know if it's a kind perception or a mean perception.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, they were kind. They were kind in their perception. But seeing the emotional ping pong between Dennis and Annaleigh was absolutely riveting, and true to real life. Like they captured that relationship between myself and my father perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Annalise, someone we always talked about from the beginning, and she just has that like warmth and compassion and that vulnerability that I think the real Melissa has. And I think with Dennis, I always wanted to cast someone that people liked. I didn't want to cast someone who always played the villain, because I want you to feel conflicted the same way Melissa does. That he's someone that is charismatic and appealing, but then also, he's really dangerous. So I think Dennis was, yeah, just perfect. And when they sat down together for the first time and read together, you never know if they're going to have that chemistry. We didn't do a chemistry read with them, and together they were just like electric. So it was really exciting.
You never did a chemistry read with them?
No, they both just got cast, and Yeah, they never read. So it's a little bit of a gamble. And but yeah, it was a huge sigh of relief when, I mean, they're both incredible actors. So you're like, I think it'll be okay. But once we saw them act together, it was like, okay, wow, this is actually going to be really special.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, though, he has to be charismatic and likable because as like the audience member, I'm watching it, I'm like, why do I like this man? I shouldn't like him. Like,
Right.
and like, I'm like, I should be like, I hate you. But,
Yeah.
it's just so good. And congratulations on the show. It's phenomenal. I can't wait for people to see it.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Geeky, thank you both so much for taking the time.
Of course.
Thanks,
Thank
Tessa.
you.
Oh my gosh, I love this show. They gave us the whole season. I sat down, I put on the first episode, and I literally watched the entire thing in one day.
Oh
Yes,
my God.
watch.
It's so good. I was like, I need to know what happens. Like, keep watching. But for you guys, I'd like to know, like, do you kind of feel, I guess, like maybe a little bit of a pressure knowing this is a true story and these are real people's lives that you are portraying on screen?
I feel like I don't want to say that there's pressure. I think there's a sense of ownership that I have in terms of stepping into this character with as much research and as much authenticity as possible. I think the more I do my work behind the scenes, then that pressure is kind of alleviated because all I have to do now is kind of follow the guideline of the amazing script that we have, or the amazing script that we had with Jen. But yeah, I think when there is a story of people's lives, the best thing that you can do when approaching it is to do the research, to respect it for what it is, and to show up authentically and see how you can personalize and relate to it. I think that is, I mean, in everyday life, I think connection and understanding or trying to empathize is the best form of respect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't feel a pressure to recreate the real Ben or who the real Ben was based on. I think the pressure I felt, very similar to what Tamera said, was bringing authenticity to the character in the moment, in the scenes, because the subject matter is so heavy and you want to do justice to that. And the way that you do justice to that is trying to be as real as a human as you can in those scenes and really, just be present.
Absolutely. And speaking of the scripts though, because I'm just sitting here like trying to figure it out, watching through like what the, big reveal is. Did you guys figure that out without spoilers? But did you, reading the scripts, did you like know?
No. No. No.
No.
Because we didn't have the last
Not
scripts
at
when
all.
we started.
Yeah.
So it
Oh,
was,
you didn't?
No, we
no,
didn't.
we had
No.
first couple maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like 3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a shock to us as well.
And you're like, oh,
All right.
oh,
Okay.
oh.
Okay.
That's exactly it. I'm like, okay. Oh, wait, no. Oh, wait, what?
Which is
So good.
great because it keeps us on track, thinking in a specific way. And then when we're not given that piece of information, again, we show up as like honestly and authentically as possible.
Yeah.
I love that so much. And then, so like the way this ends, it feels like there could be potentially more. I would love a season 2. Would you guys come back?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I loved being a part of it. Loved the fellow cast. Our writer, Jen, is incredible. She writes with such integrity. And I would love to see it. I would love to keep going on this journey.
Yeah. Melissa's doing great work. And I think this first season is just a testament to that. And there's only more healing from here. And I think we're needing that in the true crime world.
Absolutely. Yeah. I do feel like this could help some people, like for real, like people watching this, there's going to be a lot of people who relate and need to see this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you most excited for people to see throughout this season, besides like the big, shocking, crazy reveal in that final episode?
Annaleigh does such beautiful work playing Melissa. She really embodies this character with pathos and humor. And I'm excited for people to see that performance.
Yes, I ditto.
Yeah.
I think there is something so wonderful about where you see her begin and where you see her end. And that is just a testament to Melissa and what it means to confront your fears. I think when you truly step into the face of what you are the most afraid of,
Mhm.
I think you become something else. And hopefully that becoming is who you're meant to be. So it's beautiful. I
Yeah.
hope people see that.
Yeah.
It is. I really enjoyed it. And like I said, I watched it. I literally watched it back to back to back to back. So I can't wait for people to see. I
So
needed
great.
to know. I was
I
like, there's
love
no
that.
way.
I needed to
Like,
know.
I
Yeah.
did. I was like, I can't just like sit on this for a night. Like I need
That's
to
the
know what's
energy
gonna
we
be-
need.
Yeah, that's what we
That's
want.
the energy we need.
Exactly. Well, thank you both so much and congratulations. And
Thank you.
Thank
hopefully
you.
I'll get to talk to you for season 2.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you both so much for taking the time today. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you.
I love this show. I started it. I watched it. They gave us all the episodes. I watched it literally all the way through in one day. It was so good. For you guys, what was it that drew you to this role? And Benjamin, if you want to start first.
What drew me to the role is that Max is he's just like me. He's just a kid that likes to go on his iPad a lot. or or he likes to play with his Legos, and I'm just like him.
That's perfect. How about you?
Yeah, what drew me to Hazel was that she was a really layered person, and she has a lot of difficult emotions that she goes through and experiences with people being mean to her at school, with her father or grandfather being the happy face killer. She goes through a lot of hard times with her family relationships and relationships with her peers. So that really drew me to her. She was a very layered character.
She goes through it for sure.
She goes through it.
she does. We see her through, like, there's so much that happens to her throughout this. And like, I love how both of you have a different reaction to both of your characters, have a different reaction to finding out about your grandfather. Like Max is just like, okay, is he getting out? Okay, can I go do this? And Hazel's like, hold on, let me process this. So for you guys, do you feel like you would react in the same way as your character, or maybe react differently?
Oh, it's a tough question. I feel like it was completely valid for Hazel to be angry and have all the emotions she was feeling. However, without saying any spoilers, going as far as Hazel did, I don't think I would do.
A little far.
That was a little much, but
What about for you, Benjamin? Do you think you would be bothered by the fact that your grandfather is a serial killer, or like Max, would you be like, okay, cool, and go do something else?
Well, you're gonna have to find out if Max actually finds out, but I think I would definitely be bothered. That's actually crazy.
It's pretty crazy. Like, it's a crazy situation. And the fact this is all based on a true story is always interesting to me. I love stuff that's like, even if it's just a little bit. So for you guys, do you feel any different approaching a project that is based on a true story versus one that's completely made up? Do you feel maybe like a pressure to like get it right, or do you just kind of not think about it?
I'd say I felt pressure playing a real person. Not a bad pressure, but just being very overly aware that I am playing a real person, and I have to be mindful and respectful and make sure that Hazel's intentions align with how they were written and how she actually experienced them.
Mm-hmm. How about for you, Benjamin?
Go with the flow.
There you go. Don't even think about it, right? Just now, for both of you, when you were reading the script, is there a scene that maybe you were most excited to tackle, or that you can talk about? I know there's some pretty spoilery stuff, especially towards the end of the season, but is there something you were like, "Ooh, I can't wait to do that," or that just piqued your interest?
Yeah, there was like who wants to go first?
Me? Okay. I definitely have my favorite scenes. I can't say them because they're spoilers. But episode 5 was really fun.
Oh,
Episode 5, that was one of my favorites.
Benjamin, what for you? What were you excited to do?
I was excited about meeting a dog on set. His name was Strider, and we like put him in like fake mud, and he got all sticky, and I had to wash my hands after each take.
Oh, it was all sticky.
Yeah.
What is it like working with a dog on set? I bet that's a lot of fun.
It's fun because like the dog's trained.
Yeah, that's the
Like,
thing. These animals are so good.
yeah.
You can make them do almost anything. It's crazy. Awesome. Well, thank you both so much. And like I said, I love this show. I can't wait for everyone to get to see it. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you.
I loved this show so much. I literally watched all my screeners back to back to back in one day.
Awesome. That's so great.
It's so good. But I want to know for you, how much did you get to work alongside Melissa, or did you not really? Like, how many conversations did you have with her?
That's a great question. She was super present. If we needed her, she was in the pilot. She does a cameo. And then she obviously has the Happy Face podcast. She wrote a book. So I had so much source material. And then she worked really closely with our incredible showrunner, Jen Cacicio, on, her thoughts about the scripts. And we were so lucky and grateful to have her as an exec producer. But because of all of that source material, I actually didn't need to go to her as often. I felt like we were so prepared and we had her blessing. And it's actually been a really lovely experience getting to promote the show with her and hear her thoughts about the true crime machine and her perspective. And I'm just so respectful and in awe of her advocacy work for victims and families of the victims, and also families of the perpetrator. And her unique take about the true crime machine has been really thoughtful and really helpful.
When I spoke with her, she was saying how well you captured her, and she couldn't believe it watching it. So
that's so kind. That just we just really wanted to make her proud.
Yeah, I mean, the show is incredible, and like I said, I watched it back to back to back to back because I was like, I need answers. Like, I need to know. I was like, I'm not sleeping. I need to know what happens here. Yeah. So for you, like that, because that reveal, obviously, we're not going to talk about it in detail, but like, did you see this coming? Did you know that's where things were going to end up? Because I was like jaw on the floor.
No, I did not, which is great. And one of the things that's, I think, unique about our show is it's a take on true crime that's really different. It's obviously not from the killer's perspective. It's from a family member's perspective, which is really impactful. And you don't realize it until you're in it. We're not focusing on him, and we're not showing the brutalization of women. But the other thing that's really unique is Melissa's stuff, all of her backstory, her experience, that's all real. Yeah. And what is fictionalized is the crime. And that was important because we didn't want to re-traumatize the victims, as so many crime shows do. So that was really important. So I didn't know either. And I was like, what? Yeah. What a turn.
I know. It's so good. Like and I'm like, I need a season 2 because it feels like we set up, there definitely can be more. So you would come back?
Absolutely. Also, Melissa, again, her advocacy work is so exemplary and really interesting. And I think that is a story that we can, keep telling for many seasons. It's really, really extraordinary.
Yeah, it feels like this is setting up for, not like it's just a setup, but like it's a setup for so much more.
Yes. From your mouth to Paramount's ears.
Exactly. Yes, Paramount. Come on. Season 5, 6, 7. Let's just get it all planned. I do want to talk about you working with Dennis, because the two of you are just electric together. The first moment you sit opposite each other, I was like leaning forward in my chair, all in. So what was it like working with him?
It was fantastic. Dennis Quaid is one of our greatest actors. He's so special and brilliant. He's had such an extraordinary career. And so I'm a huge fan. And then, we always talk about the chemistry that you have with, somebody that you're doing some sort of, romantic scenario with, but we forget to talk about the chemistry that you have with somebody that you're playing family with. Yeah. And me and him have like such easy, familial chemistry. Like it was so easy to pretend he was my dad. And one of the things that's really special about his characterization and his take on this person is that, yes, he's disgusting and grotesque, and he plays all of the awfulness of this person, but he's also really vulnerable. And we like Dennis Quaid. So that's really uncomfortable and complicated. And it helps the audience, and it helped me as an actor play this inner struggle, this inner conflict. What do you do when this person that you love and you have core memories of protecting
protecting you and loving you and taking care of you. What do you do with that love of that man that you have before he became the monster? It's like, what is that struggle?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're like, I should not be rooting for this guy, but I kind of like him. Why do I like him? It's hard. It's a struggle.
You're like,
for sure.
I understand why she's conflicted.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much and congratulations. And I got to tell you, I love Be Positive also. That was one of my favorite shows. So completely different character for you.
I know,
but
right?
Thank you so much.